Y'all in here yet? I've been pumping gas, man, giving y'all time to get up in here. Are y'all in here yet? That's the question. Well, let me give y'all about 2 or 3 minutes, man. Let's rock out early in the morning. Another early morning drive. Y'all been asking me to do these lately, so shout out to my brothers that have been asking me to do this lately. My man Tawab Amon, my man brother Reg. You know, shout out to y'all. Let's do it. Not this garbage. Let's go. Shout out to my brother Awkwards, AOC Florida. That's my guy. Shout out to you, bro. This is fire.
He gave me a chance, he gave me a chance. Thank him in advance, cause he broke the trance. I've been through a lot, wasn't happenstance. Now I ain't looking back, not a second glance. Going and I'm flowing, I'm knowing I cannot hold. Frank him up on my crown, I pray that he protect my thoughts. So you the salt of the earth, or be earth, the pillar of salt. No, get off me, not faulty, I'm swarthy, I don't swear with thoughts. Silent to my own, I had to pick up my cross. When you follow the hollow, to be swallowed for going off. Is it Torah or Korah? My aura can't ignore the boss. And this faith that will lead you, that lead you, have you count the cost? I done told you once, do I have to tell you twice? Embody, you are a living sacrifice. Like Christ had died when our debt was amortized. You may end up in the mortuary or be mortified. I ain't bowing to no man, man, I'm Mordecai. Patience of the saints, yeah, how wish I be standing by. Under your judgment, the commandments, my alibi. I'm so serious when you see me, just look into my eyes. Yeah, they built in Zion, yeah, held them up like Orion. And I put the iron, they became prey to a lion. Still ain't on the head, they got tackled by a bear. With such a name, watching for bed to idol, God they swear. Still ignore the shepherd, then got spotted by the leopard. Believing the conjecture, transgressors throughout their records. Till this very day, getting trampled by the ego. Your ego is the reason we cannot rise as a people. Do it for my sister and do it for my brethren. Every word I'm telling should stick in your melon. Despite all the tension in this name I mention, these words I haven't said. Repent, so please pay attention.
Hey, peace and blessings and shalom, shalom, shalom to the family. Welcome to another early morning edition, impromptu, half asleep of Maccabeestv. It's your brother, Priest Dan, representing Lines of Israel, represent Maccabeestv. Good morning, one and all. You know how this goes already, right? On the A side, if you're in the building, you know you should be hitting that like button. Comments I get is the more people that get notified. We know that we're shadow banned on this channel. We know how it goes. So, you know, do your due diligence, right? So, when I do these early morning lives, like I always tell y'all, we helping each other. I've been getting more and more requests to do them, which is why I've been doing a little more, although I'm considering doing, excuse me, a channel just for this, so I don't overdo it on this channel. But we help each other, right? So I'm doing this because I've been asked, but y'all help me stay awake. Man, listen, I literally just pulled out of my house and 3 deer, not 1, not 2, but 3 deer met me as soon as I pulled out. Just ran across the street right in front of the car. So I said, it's one of those mornings, huh? Okay, I got to be awake. Because these bad boys is up, they're awake. They like to jump out on this highway, run across randomly. You know, when you drive this way, you'll see random dead deer on the side of the road, lots of roadkill, right? It's usually not so bad. Listen, I know I complain, right? Shout out to all the truck drivers that be listening to the show. Y'all definitely been educating me on what these trucks be doing in the morning, you know, with their high beams, so forth and so on. I've learned a lot. So shout out to all you brothers. I don't know if it was any sisters, but shout out to you brothers that have been talking to me about, you know, what the trucks are doing. But as you'll notice on the road today so far, it looks like it's about to change, but so far there's not many trucks out here, which makes it worse. While the trucks do annoy me, when they're not out here, when they're out here, the deer don't come out. They don't come out as much. But when they're not out here, one of them bad boys could jump out any second right in front of the car. They'll just run out in front of the car and then stop and look right at you. I didn't understand what a deer in headlights meant till I lived out here, and now I understand. Now I understand. Oh snap, my sister Heavenly is in the building. Sis, you can't sleep? What's going on? I don't usually see you up this time of the morning, but shalom to you. Let's see. Oh, you said yeah? All right, well, I got you, sis. I had actually a decent sleep, and getting up, man, was like, I felt like I had 2 cinder blocks on my back. I could barely wake up, but it was time, nevertheless. So shout out to y'all, like I always tell you. You guys help me stay focused on the road to the best of my ability while I'm going to work. Very important on a day like this when there's hardly anybody on the road, because at any second I could have a visitor jump out in front of me. Let me stop talking about that thing before it really happens. It's happened to me a few times on this route, man. A baby deer will just run out and stand right in front of the car, and I got to swerve. It's crazy. Anyway, peace and blessings to everybody. I know it's very early. I don't expect a lot of y'all in the house, but I see some of y'all in the house. I see some of my people in the building. Just make sure y'all hit that like button. You know, I could use a few more. That'd be nice of you. Very nice of you. So, you guys see the title of the video. And, you know, depending on interaction, as always, will depend on how long I'll be live. I could do this, or I could listen to some music, right? Because once I talk to y'all for 20, 25 minutes, I'm ready. I'm up, and I can listen to some music. So, all depends on the interaction. Oh, shit. Mitchell Martin said he hit a deer too. But be careful, bro. Hopefully it didn't damage your car too badly. Anyway, you guys see the title of the video, right? A distinction without a difference. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that terminology before. I'm pretty sure you have. A distinction without a difference. I'm talking about the 2020 election, right? So, you know, it's no surprise. We've been talking about it on this channel, and I'm sure you brothers and sisters already knew. They didn't call this election. We already knew this was going to happen. They did not call it. It's so-called too close to call. You have Biden saying, hey, we're doing really well, and we think we can win this thing. And you have Trump saying he's about to win. The mainstream media is counting the votes for him real slow. And we're starting to hear about the mail-in ballots and blah, blah, blah. Well, I think I could be wrong. I think we've been talking about this on this channel for a couple of months. I think so. I could be wrong, though. So, either way that the election is called, somebody gonna be mad. Whether it's the militias, the Proud Boys of the world, etc., or whether it's Antifa on the left, somebody gonna be mad. Did y'all see those crowds that formed in front of the White House last night? Lots and lots of crowd, big, gigantic crowds protesting. So in DC, so y'all in DC, be careful. We don't know how this thing is gonna be called. We don't know how it's gonna end up, but I do know, according to the title, it is a distinction without a difference. If you're not familiar with the terminology, that means we lose either way, no matter who wins. No matter who wins. If Trump wins, we lose. If Biden wins, we lose. So it is a distinction without a difference. Let me talk to my Israelite family that are Trump supporters. I see a lot of y'all on Facebook, man. It's a whole lot of y'all on Facebook. I be seeing y'all, man. Y'all might as well get y'all MAGA hats now. And make America great t-shirts and put fringes on it. Because there's a lot of Israelites that are Trump supporters online. Now you might say, well, I know what y'all gonna say. Israelites still learning shalom to you. I know what y'all gonna tell me. You gonna tell me, well, Trump is anti-abortion and Trump is anti, alphabet people. And Trump gave money to HBCUs. And Trump has a plan for Black America and all this good stuff. I'm with you on some of that stuff because I'm anti-alphabet people too. It's against the scriptures. I'm anti-abortion too. That's against the scriptures. So I do understand why a lot of our people, I'm really talking to the brothers because I don't see you sisters doing this, so I'm talking to the brothers in Israel, man. I do understand why some of y'all have been waving the pom-poms for Trump. I understand it. Were I not in his truth, I probably would be doing the same thing. But let me explain something to y'all, to my brothers that have been waving the pom-poms in Israel for Trump. Y'all need to go and watch one of his campaign speeches he gave either yesterday or day before yesterday concerning the state of Israel and how he is in support of the state of Israel. I'm talking about the people that wear the small hats. They're really, really extra small hats that they wear, them people. He is in support of Jerusalem being the undisputed, uncontested capital of the people that wear small hats. He gave this speech like a day or two ago, all right? So if he is in support of those people that wear small hats and them claiming Jerusalem as their capital, you as Israel, you got that's a problem for you. I hope you do realize that. That's a problem for you. So you might want to take them pom-poms and put them down. All right? Yeah, he's saying some real good things on some subjects. Especially for those of us that are Bible brothers and Bible sisters. He's saying some real good stuff for us. But he's also saying some stuff that go against the scriptures. You have what you call, the cops are out this time of morning early, but they're really pulling aside these 18-wheelers for whatever reason. Yeah, you gotta put them pom-poms down, family. Y'all do realize that so-called, I say so-called because, well, they're not real Christians, but you guys do realize that so-called evangelical Christians are some of the biggest supporters of Trump. You talk about guys like Pat Robertson and John Hagee and Paula White and that ilk. I'm talking about white evangelical Christians. They're some of his biggest supporters. And all those so-called white evangelical Christians that support Donald Trump and the so-called black Christian apologists too, you too, they all have something in common. They all call themselves in support of Israel. See, this is the funny thing. This is the funny thing. This is the funny part, right? When we make our claim that we are the Israelites, it's a problem. We can't prove it. We need to go take a DNA test, blah, 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 blah. The people that wear the small hats that make claim, because it's only a claim. It's only a claim. The people that support them, and they support their, they support blah, blah, blah. They say according to prophecy, which is Isaiah 2 in 1948, that was a fulfillment of prophecy, and blah, 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 and blah, blah. These are Christian evangelicals and black Christian apologists. And all of them support Trump, and Trump 2 days ago, maybe even 1 day ago, I didn't really look to see when the speech was made, was in support of the people that wear the small hats and their claim to Israel. So just in case some of my brothers, and it really is the brothers, not the sisters, are deceived. Donald Trump, if he's elected to be back to being president, is a distinction without a difference. Because none of them are in support of us, making our claim to be the true children of Israel. And at some point or another, just like the Romans came against the children of Israel in Rome, we know that Claudius expelled the Jews. You can read about that in the book of Acts. There was certain other Roman Caesars later on after Claudius that also came against the Jews, which is our people. We know the Spaniards, Spain, came against the Jews, right? We know that as well. We know Ferdinand and Isabella expelled the Jews from Spain, and they had a cousin that sat on the throne of Portugal who also expelled the Jews and the Moors out of Spain. Okay? So history repeats itself. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here, but we do know that at certain times in history, the powers that should not be, I know people call them the powers that be, but we call them the powers that should not be, because we are the powers that should be, Israel, come against our people. We know that that's what happens. So, even if Donald Trump wins the election, I don't want my brothers getting too comfortable, because it is a distinction without a difference. He is the enemy, just like Joe Biden is the enemy. Yes, he's anti-abortion. Yes, he's anti-alphabet people. Yes, he's giving money to historically black colleges. Yes, he's doing this. Yes, he's cutting taxes. Yes, so forth and so on. I know all the arguments that's being made, but he is an enemy to us, nevertheless. And the Bible tells us in the book of Sirach to do what? Never trust your enemy. So all of my brothers that are on Facebook with the pom-poms for Trump, with your Israelite MAGA hats, and your Make America Great t-shirts with fringes on it, you might want to just pump the brakes a little bit, okay? He's no better. So, as I mentioned, hey man, let's get these likes up, family. Come on. Let's get the likes up a little bit. I know it's early. Wipe the cold out your eyes and hit the like button. I need a few more likes, family. Let's go. Y'all know how this algorithm thing works. Peace and blessings to everybody that's watching. Right, we're going to get to that. Oh, yeah, we're going to get to that. Yes. I started with Trump because, I don't know, man. Listen, I ain't accusing nobody. But in the spirit, I'm going to tell y'all honestly what I've been perceiving. In the spirit, some of you brothers, your faith is kind of shaky. I'm going to tell you straight. Y'all know I cut straight, right? I don't cut cross, I cut straight. So I'm going to cut straight with some of my Israelite family. Some of you brothers, your faith is shaky, right? You believe in the scriptures, you know you're an Israelite, but your faith is shaky. So you were rooting for Trump because Trump, I told y'all they have this whole QAnon thing with some of you Israelites, you've been pushing that too. And your faith is shaky. You've been hearing that Trump is supposedly fighting against the deep state and fighting against the Illuminati. And some of you brothers was hoping that, well, maybe this is, maybe it's true. Maybe he could take down the Illuminati. Maybe he could take down the deep state. You take that glory from the Father and His Son when you hoping for that. I'm telling you straight. And some of y'all, I feel in the spirit, I'm speaking in the spirit, some of y'all was doing that. Yeah, some of y'all was doing that. I ain't saying everybody, but some of y'all was doing that. So I had to start with him first. To remind my brothers who I love, who might be a little shaky in the faith, Trump is the enemy too. He's the enemy too. Okay? I just had to give y'all a reminder. All right? See, the media tells you he's the big bad wolf because he says so-called racist stuff. But then on the flip side, right, he's doing things that might make black people, you know what I'm saying, especially the ones of us that's as Israelites and so-called Latino people, he'll rock you to sleep. Because you're not listening to the media. You're saying, well, hey, he's against abortion. He's against the alphabet people. He's this, he's that. So you getting rocked to sleep too. So I gotta dump a glass of cold water in your head and remind you they're all the enemy. Okay. So we done got that out the way. So now we can talk about Biden. Because on the campaign trail, we know Biden is openly saying things that we know make him the enemy to us. To our people, they love him. But to us, in the truth, Biden is the open enemy because he is for the alphabet people. He's rocking with them. He's for abortion. We know Trump, under his administration, abortion has been cut, exponentially cut across the board. Under Biden, it will be restored. So he's openly the enemy. We know that, right? My brother just pointed out that if you live in a state where firearms are legal, Biden has openly said he's going to ban assault rifles, what he calls assault rifles. Kamala Harris has also made the same pledge on the campaign trail. Now you might ask yourself, especially if you're from a non-firearm state and you don't really know much about firearms, you might ask yourself, well, what firearms is he talking about banning? It's the AR-15. That's the #1 enemy to the Democratic Party when it comes to the Second Amendment and firearms. They want to ban AR-15s, which are, the AR stands for assault rifles. That's the AR, right? So they want to ban those. Now, if you know anything about statistics as far as gun violence in America, about 2%, I'm winging it a little bit, maybe I'm gonna say 2 to 4%, to be on the safe side, to be more accurate, of gun violence in America. Only 2 to 4% of gun violence in America is attributed to assault rifles, or AR-15s, which is the most popular assault rifle on the market. Only 2 to 4% of gun violence is committed with AR-15s or assault rifles. The overwhelming majority, 96 to 98% of gun violence, is committed with smaller caliber firearms, handguns. 96 to 98%. 96 to 98%. So you might be asking yourself, well, what does that mean? What it means is, if Biden is elected president, the first thing they're going to do when it comes to gun violence, wow, there's a deer right there. Wow. Okay. Well, what's left of a deer? If Biden is elected and they start attacking what's called the so-called Second Amendment, they're going to ban assault rifles, and they're going to come up with what they call a buyback program for assault rifles, which are AR-15s, which over the last couple of months has been the most popular, the fastest selling firearm on the market. Like, everybody in gun states is getting those things because of what they perceive to be violence that's about to happen, right? Give me 1 second, y'all. So on my truck driving family, another thing I don't understand about these guys, they don't stay in their lane at all. I have to share the lane with half these truck drivers. Anyway, give me 1 second. Let me just pass this guy so you guys can hear me. Right. So both Biden and Harris are on record saying that they're going to ban assault rifles. AR-15s is the most popular one. And they're going to come up with what is called a buyback program, which basically is nothing but a confiscation program. They're going to force you to sell, if you own one, they're going to force you to sell your AR-15 for pennies on the dollar, whatever you brought it for. Or they've also proposed implementing a tax on the AR-15, where every year you're paying like $200 to $400 a year in taxes just to own it, if you want to own it. And of course, they have the registry of everyone that ever brought one. And I don't know too many people in gun states that don't have one. I'm gonna tell you straight. The handguns is very common, but the AR-15s is almost as common. So now let me get back to my point. You might say, well, what does this matter? Let's get the lights up, family. Come on, let's go. People are slowly trickling in. I know it's early in the morning. Y'all guys say that these conversations help you out. They help me too. But y'all can help me a little bit more by hitting that like button so more people can come in and be aware. We know the channel is shadow banned, so we help each other. And we are brother and sisters keeper that are not getting their notifications. When we hit the like button, they get the notifications that we're live too, because YouTube is not sending them out. Not just for me, but for most channels, they're not sending them out. All right, so I'm gonna tell you, brothers and sisters, why this is important. I'm gonna be a nice guy and turn my high beams off in this guy's eyes in front of me. Let me tell you guys why that whole thing with the AR-15, the assault rifles ban is important, right? It's important because, as I mentioned to you guys, only about 2 to 4% of gun violence is actually committed by AR-15s. So once they ban the AR-15 or the assault rifles, right, and gun violence doesn't go down, you guys do know what the next logical step is going to be, right? Well, that didn't solve the problem. They're just going to ban firearms altogether. It is a progression. They cannot just come out and ban firearms just like that. These Edomites will go bat doodle. I'm trying not to curse, because people are like, oh, please don't curse. Whenever I get those messages on the thing too. You know what I'm saying? So for my Christian Israelite brothers and sisters, I'm gonna be nice to them. I'm gonna try not to say any 4-letter words. So I'm gonna say bat doodle. This guy's tailgating like a mother. I'm gonna say that the next logical step is to ban firearms altogether. We know Adolf Hitler did that, right? Right. So we know Hitler did that. Right before the Nazis took over in Germany, that was one of the steps that they did. They disarmed the public. And so the average Bubba Gump and the rest of these hillbillies, they know that. They know some history. They might be the Hatfields and the McCoys, right? You know, they might be Bubba Gump and all, you know, all that. But they do know history. And they know the history of that. And so they're not willing to give up their firearms. And so the powers that should not be cannot just come out and just confiscate and ban all firearms. It has to be in progression. And BS is they're starting with a firearm at 2 to 4% of the time in gun violence. They really wanted to stop so-called gun violence, they would start with the handguns. They're not doing that. But anybody with a little bit of discernment could clearly see where this is going. And so Biden and Harris and some of the other Democratic candidates have openly called for this. The folks that live in the states where firearms are legal are not having it. So the potential for violence is great. It's great if Biden wins. You could see civil unrest. We have not, as Israelites, we have not prophesied this. But we understand the potential for civil unrest is great, right? Where I live, when I talk to these people, they're saying that their own people, the military, whomever, police, whomever, are gonna have to come and take their you-know-what from them because they ain't giving it up. That's where I'm living at now. This is what I hear from I'm just gonna say this is what I hear from white people. They ain't giving their guns up at all. You want it, you better come take it. That's what they're saying. I'm excluding our people from this conversation, even though I know that in these states our people have the firearms too. But it's not us talking like this. It's Esau talking like this against Esau. All right, our people are just sitting on the sidelines. We I'm not even factoring us into this thing. So this is serious. The outcome of this election is bad either way. That's why I said it is a distinction without a difference. Biden has also come out and said that one of the first priorities of his administration is to give the alphabet people more rights and more legislation. That's what he said. We all know, as Israelites, that's bad. That's bad. And then we have that old shriveled up, prune-faced black devil that they call Maxine Waters. Did y'all see the article that came out day before yesterday? That old shriveled up, dried up black devil that they call Maxine Waters. Did y'all see that article that came out day before yesterday? You didn't see it? Well, you guys can Google it, look it up. The narrative is already being set if Joe Biden loses. See, listen. It's bad either way. It's a distinction without a difference. The narrative is already being set if Joe Biden loses. Do you know who is going to receive a lot of the blame for him losing? Black men. Maxine Waters said, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the name of the article. Y'all can look it up. She is saying that if Donald Trump loses, if Joe Biden loses, black men will go down in history as having done a disservice to our people. It's kind of a little bit of a paraphrase. Y'all can look it up. Basically, if she loses, she's pinning the tail on black men. This narrative came out 4 years ago when Hillary lost, but it wasn't pushed, right? During this election, Donald Trump had said that he was trying to get 25% of the black vote. As I've been watching things unfold, I'm sure you guys have been seeing the same thing I'm seeing. You have a lot of so-called black Trump supporters all over the place. You got this guy calling himself the MAGA Hulk. That's a Jake. That's you, Judah. Judah, that's you. He calls himself the MAGA Hulk, right? You had another dude that calls himself Prime Minister, not with an I, with a Y. Prime Minister. These are guys that have thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers. He calls himself Prime Minister. Of course, we can't forget Mr. With that being fed himself, Young Pharaoh. Can't forget about this guy. Tommy Sotomayor. What's this guy's name? Kingface. He passed away, so I'm not going to speak ill of the dead. Kingface and so many others. So many other prominent so-called black Trump supporters, and most of them were men. You do have Angela Stanton. She's a female, but for the most part, it's black men that have been supporting this dude, right? Openly. Which is, I'm not going to say it's understandable, but I do understand some of their points. Because some of the things that they say they support about Trump, I support too. And so Trump said he was trying to get 25% of the black vote. So we have to pay attention. If he were to win this election, if they call it for him, we have to pay attention to the statistics that are going to come out. Because what you have is you have a lot of Democratic operatives like Simone Sanders, right? Like all these females on the shows like The Real and The Queens and the rest of those clowns, female clowns, by the way. Maxine Waters, Ilhan Omar, who's not really our people, but still. And so many others that are already, if you look up Simone Sanders, she said black men are always given, what did she say? She said black men are always given their opinion and nobody asked for it. Again, I'm paraphrasing, that's what Simone Sanders said. That old carpet-eating black devil too, her too. Okay? So there's a narrative being spun already that when statistics come out, if Trump were to win, right? One of the things that they're going to blame it on is that black men either didn't vote or they voted for Trump. To further divide our people and our nation. That is a narrative that you're going to hear a lot going forward, if you haven't already heard it. Another distinction without a difference, as though Biden winning would have been better for our people. As though we don't know about the 94 crime bill. We don't have videos of every racist thing that Joe Biden ever said over the years. He's been in politics for 47 years. As though we don't see those videos all over YouTube. They call Trump a racist as though Biden hasn't said stuff that's worse. It is a distinction without a difference. There's no difference. That's why Israelites say we don't vote for presidents. We don't vote for presidents. For what? We vote for the Most High and His Son. Because none of these guys can do anything for us. Or will do anything for us. For those of y'all that's just coming in, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Trump is on record as of 2 days ago saying he supports Jerusalem as the uncontested capital of Israel. And I'm not talking about Israel as in us, the Israelites. He's talking about them people that wear small hats. Need I remind you? His daughter Ivanka is married to a small hat. His name is Jared Kushner. Right? He's a small hat. Need I remind you that one of his top lawyers that Trump has, I believe his last name is Friedman or Feldman, he is a small hat. Okay? Oh, Trump is not part of the Illuminati. He's taking down the deep state. Yeah, you don't know what's happening. Right? Remember, as I've already told you guys many times, the powers that should not be play both sides of the argument all the time. All the time. They play both sides of the argument. How do you know that QAnon is nothing but the Illuminati fighting against the Illuminati, or so they would have you believe? How do you know? Where are my QAnon people at? Where you at? I thought you guys said that there was supposed to be mass arrests. Hillary Clinton was supposed to be arrested. Bill Clinton was supposed to be arrested. Some of y'all say they were executed, but some of y'all say they're supposed to be arrested. And before the election, we're supposed to see military tribunals on TV. Y'all QAnon people know what y'all been saying. Well, I'm waiting with bated breath to see when's this gonna happen. Y'all are saying all the military people, all of Hollywood and everybody is in Guantanamo Bay, or they've been executed. That's what you QAnon people been saying. Okay, well, it'd be a good time for you guys to actually show and prove now. It's about time. Because this election is looking kind of shaky for you guys, you Trump supporters, you people that's bathed in the American flag, that's talking about this utopian society. Hey man, this one Negro named Prime Minister, I got to say what I got to say. This one Negro named Prime Minister, he has a channel on YouTube. I'll be watching this shit laughing because to me it's funny. His name is spelled with a Y, P-R-Y-M-E, Prime Minister. This dude said Trump is the Messiah. No, it's not a white man. No, it is not a white man. This is a black dude. He said Trump is the Messiah. And by the way, that dude is a pastor. Okay? He's a pastor. He said Trump is the Messiah. Trump is fulfilling the prophecies of Revelation and all this stuff. Huh? He said, this is the second coming. That's what this dude said. That's what he said. He said, this is the second coming. Okay? You got a lot of crazy people on both sides of this thing, man. I hope you brothers that support this whole QAnon thing. I mean, I'm talking about wholeheartedly. Hope you guys really understand what QAnon is. I'm only talking to the people in the audience that may support it. If you don't know what it is, just play the side for a second. I'm having a conversation with my Israelite brothers that I see sharing that crap on Facebook. I hope you guys know what you're supporting. Have you really taken a look at this whole QAnon thing? Do you really understand what it is that they believe? They believe that Trump is the second coming, man. He's taking down the deep state and he's going to set up the kingdom of heaven. He's about to get rid of the IRS, about to get rid of the dollar, about to get rid of the all these things and set up some type of utopian society. And we're all gonna live happily ever after. With the so-called, the small hats, almost said it, I caught myself. With the small hats living in Israel with Jerusalem as their capital. Y'all support that? Because I don't. Huh? Y'all support that? Because I don't. You're either giving you some red meat saying that he's taking down the deep state and what Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden's laptop with all the emails. Yeah, I heard all that stuff too. Well, if Joe Biden is corrupt and his son's emails show pedophilia and all this other stuff that I'm hearing, it needs to come out about right now, because this election thing is looking a little shaky on both sides. So it's going to be interesting, family. I don't have no horse in the race. Biden is openly for these vaccines, so if you see him win, you guys might, notice I use words like might. I ain't prophesying none of this stuff, because this stuff is fluid, right? It's fluid. What they put out in the mainstream media probably is not even what they're going to do. However, if Biden were to win, right, there's a good possibility, I'll use words like that we might see lockdowns a second time. All right? Now, y'all been hearing this on this channel for how long? Okay. Some of you Israelites don't watch the news. Y'all do realize that England is going back into a lockdown again. Y'all realize that? Hopefully you guys realize that, right? Y'all do realize that Italy is going back into a lockdown if they haven't already. And there's one other country that I'm missing. Australia already is. Because of the C-19. Y'all already know what that is. These countries are going back into lockdown. They're regressing back into lockdown mode that they were in a few months ago. Regressing. If Biden becomes president, we may see some of that stuff over here again. Because he's saying that Trump opened up too soon. So we may see some of that stuff again. We are also seeing the rush for the vaccination. We're seeing a rush to that, right? We know that Dr. Fauci has said that everything could not go back to normal until everybody's vaccinated. We all see what's happening here. And that was one of the reasons why, me personally, if I were in the world, I would have supported Trump. Because one thing I do like that he has said, although it's a distinction without a difference, I'm going to keep saying that. I do like the fact that he made a statement in one of his speeches, I believe yesterday. Well, not yesterday, because yesterday was the election now. The day before yesterday, one of the things he said that they're making great progress on the C-19. And he was saying that a lot of the medications that's already on the market, which we know is, you have hydroxychloroquine. We have another one that starts with an R. Remdesivir, I don't know. Whatever. It's all Latin crap. Anyway, there's another medicine that's on the market that he took himself. If you know what it is, you can put it in the chat. While he was supposedly diagnosed with COVID, he took some type of medicine that starts with an R. He took it, and Melania took it too. And in a speech he gave day before yesterday, he was saying that a lot of those medicines are sufficient to fight C-19. Damn, I just said 19. I was supposed to say 19. It's a damn shame in these days and times you can't even speak openly on YouTube. Like, y'all don't see all the, obviously you wouldn't. Y'all don't see all the messages I get from YouTube after I do these lives, man. The algorithm triggers everything. Anyway, that's why this channel is shadow banned. That's why you guys don't get the notifications. That's why I've been telling y'all, in order to get the notifications, there's two things you should do. I'm kind of deviating for 1 second. If you are subscribed to Maccabeestv, YouTube updates a lot. So you may not be, the reason why you may not be getting the notification is because you may have hit the notification bell in the past, but they updated the notifications, right? So you got to go to where it says subscribe. Right next to it, there's a notification bell. You got to click it, and then you got to select where it says notification for all. Because what YouTube does now is that if you don't click notification for all, you'll only get certain notifications, not just from my channel, but any channel that you like, that you want to be notified what they're doing. You got to go back in. I know you clicked the notifications already, a lot of y'all, but you don't have it selected notify all. There were updates that were done to YouTube. So that's the first thing that you want to check. Because I look at my comments all the time, and I'm constantly seeing people that said, oh, I didn't even get a notification. Family, there's nothing I could do. But you can go and check where it says notifications and click the one that says all, because you may not have all selected. There was an update that was done to YouTube. That's the first thing. Second thing is to join the Facebook group, Maccabeestv. I have a Facebook group there. I accept everybody. But just as quickly as I accept you, I will kick you out if you come in there, especially you lovelites, you are lawless lights. I got a lot of names for y'all. You recently become Christian lights. You guys that's trying to push this false doctrine that we ain't got to keep the commandments, y'all trying to share that in my group, I will throw you out. I'll let everybody in, but I'm going to throw you out just as quick. Just be clear. But for everybody else, if you send a notification, I accept everybody in the group, and I always put a link in there that I did a live so you don't miss it, okay? Back to what I was talking about before. So Melania and Donald and their son Barron all supposedly came down with the C-19, and they took these Trump is 74 years old, and so people that are older are supposed to, the C-19 is supposed to be more fatal for them. This dude recovered in a matter of days and was right back on the campaign trail. That's one thing I do like about him, is that he doesn't speak about the vaccine in terms of trying to force it on everybody, but I still, like the Bible says, I don't trust my enemies. That could just be some stuff he's saying to appease these QAnon and these black Trump supporters and all the rest of these and Christian Christian apologists and evangelicals and stuff like that, because all of them are against this vaccine. All of them are, most of them are against the vaccine. So those could just be things that he's saying to appease them until he gets in office, and then he might force the vaccine on everybody too. We don't know what's going to happen. The Bible says never trust your enemy, and it means what it says. And so I follow the scriptures. Whoever's in office is not good for us as Israelites, especially for those of us that are awoken to our nationality. It's not good for us. Neither side supports our claims to being Israelites. And at some point or another, with the proliferation of this word, the way that this word is spreading like wildfire, right? The way that that's happening, at some point, we know that the powers that should not be are going to openly come against us. Because both candidates are in support of the small hats. The small hats control the media and all its arms and branches, including the very platforms that we're on right now, I'm talking to you on right now. It is through social media why the word is proliferating the way that it is. I'm telling y'all, in 2000, listen carefully to what I'm saying, because this is something a lot of y'all don't know. Before I go any further, can I see a few more likes? Let's just get a few more, family. I'll continue when I see the numbers go up a little bit. It's just because of the algorithm why I ask y'all. Trust me, I'm hoping for the day where I don't have to ask you guys. But if you up at my house, you could do me that solid. I appreciate it. Thank y'all. That's love. I appreciate it. I'm going to tell you, brothers and sisters, something. I'm speaking as a man. There is a war against this truth. And it's a multi-pronged war against this truth. I want y'all to hear me and hear me good to what I'm saying. I see this thing clearly. I've been around for a little minute. So y'all gonna have to take my word for it or not. Or not. It's up to you. I see it clearly. I have the perspective to look both backwards and forward to kind of see what's happening with this whole Israelite thing. And I see it clearly. There is a war against us. And when I say a war against us, the Israelite movement in general, but more specifically, the branches that came out of One West. Now, some of y'all might be offended because you don't come from that. I understand. But I have the benefit of perspective to kind of see what's gone on since I've been in this thing. And I remember the elders saying over and over again in the 90s, and everybody that was back there will validate what I'm telling you. Some of you guys have never heard these stories. That's why I tell you the stories. I remember the elders saying over and over and over again that they were being offered money to stop teaching what they were teaching. I remember that vividly. Over and over again, the elders would say that. From the time I came into this truth in 92, all the way until the school split 95, the elders were saying that the powers that be were trying to buy them out. And eventually, of course, friction came between them. I ain't gonna get into the details of it, right? And there was a major split in 95, where you had some brothers that stayed behind and some brothers that left out and formed the House of David, right? And then the same thing happened at the House of David. Literally, the same thing happened there too. And myself and Bun Law used to always talk. You could clearly see the hand of the enemy working with somebody, trying to suppress this Israelite movement, especially the movement that came out of One West. They've been trying to destroy this thing for a minute. I'm not asking y'all, I've witnessed it, so I'm telling you, I've seen it. And now we're in the age of social media. Now we're in the age of Vocab Malone and Eric Mason and all these devils that call themselves Christians. Yes, they're at war with the Israelite community, but in specific, who they warring against? I'm asking y'all, who are they warring against? Who are they warring against? The SPLC. Who are they warring against? Let me help y'all. The camps that come out of One West. Everybody is at war with us. Why? Why? Every apologist, every Kemetic, everybody is at war with the Israelites, but specifically us. Why? I know why, but I ain't gonna say, because it's kind of obvious. It's kind of obvious. They've been trying to destroy this thing since I came in. And every time they try, they fail. The Most High, some brothers ain't gonna like what I'm about to say. The Most High caused this Israelite thing to fracture the way it fractured with so many camps. The Most High did that. It's the only way that they have not been able to destroy this thing, because you can't get everybody. You can't get everybody. You're not going to be able to get everybody. You're not. You're not going to be able to get people to everybody to work with you. Every leader, you're not going to be able to do it. It's too many camps. You don't have enough money to buy everybody out. The Lord is behind this. And the Lord is going to bring us back together when the time comes. And we're in that time now where camps are beginning to try to... What the fuck is this guy doing? This guy was trying to split lane across the lane without even a signal. This is why I wake up in the morning and I talk to y'all to stay awake, because these 18-wheelers be wilding. There's a truck in front of him, so he doesn't want to be behind the truck, so he's trying to cross in front of me without even signaling. This is why I tell y'all help me too. I gotta stay awake out here, because these truck drivers are all, some of these guys, man, might be on that white stuff. I don't know. So I'm gonna take my time. I got time. While I'm waiting, I'm gonna ask again. I can still use a few more likes. Last time I asked, I think I only got like 2 or 3. I could use 2 or 3 more. Let's go. All right, I'm gonna make my move right now, because this guy next to me is on crack. All right, let's get a couple more, family. Let's go. Come on. Numbers are going up, but my likes are not. Let's go. I'll continue when I get a few more likes, family. Or y'all can just watch the road. You can just watch the road. There you go. Come on, man. Stop playing. Yeah, so like I was saying, the Most High is going to bring us back together. That's why I don't personally sweat it when I see what I see in Israel with all the different camps and stuff like that. I know for many of y'all that you haven't been in the walk that long, you don't really understand the dynamics of why there are so many. And a lot of things have happened over the years, which I'm not going to rehash now, but the Lord is involved with all this. And the Most High has a greater purpose, and the Most High has a greater wisdom than we as men have, and the Most High could see further down the road than we could see. And what I'm trying to impart to you, brothers and sisters, the best way I can, there's always been a war against this movement, right? And it's so much easier for Esau to infiltrate something if we all had just stayed as one big happy family as a school. It would have been that much easier for them to do that, because they've been, according to the leaders, they've been trying for years. The way things are set up right now, yeah, the camps are divided. Yeah, sometimes they come against each other, they war and they fight, but Esau can't buy everybody. You have a lot of leaders and camps and bodies and congregations that haven't, that listen, like it says, the Most High got 7,000 men that have not bowed their knee to Baal. The way things are structured right now, they can't get everybody. And guess what? The way things are structured right now, the word is proliferating more than ever. Even with all the division. Even with all the division. And the main culprit for that is social media. It is through social media, and a lot of the younger brothers that are coming in that are really good using social media, right? That the word is proliferating. Because around, I'm getting back now to what I was saying about 10 minutes ago, around 2000, after the World Trade Center went down, a lot of y'all wasn't around in Israel then. I'm trying to tell you, you could count on your fingers how many camps was still on the street teaching. It was only a handful of camps that was still, I'm talking about here in New York. There was only a handful of camps that was still on the streets teaching in 2000. A lot of camps were not. They just were not. After the World Trade Center went down, a lot of camps wasn't on the streets teaching. They was not. Brothers got fearful. I remember, and I'm not in hindsight, it may not have been wise, but we did it. I remember when the World Trade Center went down. I'm giving some history now, right? This is when Beloya was still alive, right? At one time, y'all know that at one time Beloya and Zabak, they were together. They had the camp, they were together, right? And the camp, that's the House of Israel camp. They formed that camp together. And I remember that the camp used to go down to 14th Street. That was the original 14th Street camp. They used to go down to 14th Street. And right after the World Trade Center went down, okay, we went to camp. I was there. And I used to be the guy that used to bring the camera down there to film the camp. I had my own camera back then because that was a big thing in Israel, because most camps back then didn't have cameras. Brothers just was going out teaching. There was no YouTube back in 2000. None of that stuff. But the Most High had blessed me where I had a camera. So I used to go down and film their camp on 14th Street. Right? And I remember that right after 9/11, you had police officers from all over the country that were here in New York. They weren't here in New York visiting. These police officers from all over the country were in full uniform. And I remember that we were down on 14th Street and you had these cops from Oklahoma and Montana and this state and that state. These guys were standing in front of the camp, and you know, volatile. It was volatile. The tensions were high. And these Edomites were standing in front of the camp with their hand on their gun, standing just looking at us like they were ready to pull the thing out the holster and shoot us. That's how high the tensions were. And brothers was in the streets. Brothers with no fear. They were still in the streets, but it was only a handful of camps. These are facts. I may still even have those videos laying around, but the format that they're in, like I always tell y'all, is VHS and all this other crap. And y'all tell me all the time, well, put it in digital and put them out. Yeah, but that shit, excuse me, I said I wasn't gonna, that thing costs money and y'all ain't trying to help me do it. I've been trying to, figure out how to get a lot of my VHS, bring a lot of my VHS footage that I have into the digital era, and I'm counting the cost like, man, that's a lot of money. So y'all been waiting, y'all gonna wait some more. Because my Cash App don't be ringing like that, family. I'm gonna tell y'all straight. If y'all want me to do that, but y'all can hit the Cash App, $ Maccabeestv, just like the channel. Y'all want to see that stuff. Other than that, you're gonna be waiting. But I believe I don't even have a VHS. I went online to look for a VHS player, and even the used joints are astronomical. I'm like, oh hell no. I got so many VHS tapes in my house, I don't even know what's on them. I don't even know what's on them joints. So when I think I'm gonna be like a kid in a candy store when I finally get my hands on a VHS, just to play those videos back to see what I have. I don't even remember what I have, but I may still have some of those videos from those times, right? But anyway, brothers were out on 14th Street. It was crazy. We're coming back into a time like that again, where the powers that should not be, whoever won this election, eventually they're gonna come against us again. Especially the ones of us that street teaching. It's gonna get crazy out here. So it is a distinction without a difference. Doesn't matter who wins. Yeah, you might hear some stuff from Trump that you like. He's speaking against scenes in a roundabout way, and he speaks against the alphabet people, and he speaks against abortion and stuff like that. And I'm with all that. But I also know, yeah, you're the enemy too, man, because you support the small hats. And the small hats do not like us. They don't like us. And what they're trying to do right now, we're still in discredit mode, right? That's why we have the Mark Risers of the world and the Christian apologists of the world. And now you have the so-called Jews of the world. I was not supposed to say that. Oh, well, it is what it is. You have them, and they're trying to discredit us. You know what I'm saying? Now, all of a sudden, they're coming against our teachings. Oh, Deuteronomy 28 doesn't really mean that. And Deuteronomy 28 and 68 was fulfilled during the time of 70 AD and all this other nonsense. I have a video on that in case you brothers and sisters haven't heard that teaching. They teach that Josephus, in the Josephus, according to no, not the Josephus, I apologize. But they teach that according to the writings of historians, the Jews went back into Egypt in 70 AD. Brothers and sisters, that is a lie. And let me tell you why. There's a guy by the name of Munter, M-U-N-T-E-R. His writings are very common online. You can look it up. I have a show on this already on this channel. Munter says that the Jews indeed some of them did go back into Egypt, but that's not the prophecy. The prophecy says in Deuteronomy 28 that we would go back in ships. When you read the writings of Munter, we did not go back into Egypt in ships. We walked back into Egypt. And from Egypt, some of the Jews were taken to Rome in ships. Did y'all hear what I said? I'm gonna repeat it again. These are from the writings of Munter. For those of y'all that are studious and like to research, you must go and do this research on your own. I've already done it. The writings are common online. It's not very hard to find. You'll just have to do a little bit of reading. Munter, the historian Munter, which is a credible historian, tells you that some Jews were indeed carried back into Egypt in 70 AD. Some of us were carried back into Egypt. So what you have is you have the Christian apologists and so-called Jews that are saying, see, and also the preterists as well that are saying, see, that was fulfilled in 70 AD. No, sir. No, sir. Because some of us actually read. Some of us actually read and do research. Munter does not say that we went back into Egypt in ships. Munter says that a group of Israelites were taken back into Egypt in 70 AD, and from Egypt, we were taken by ships to Rome. That's what Munter says. So you thought we wasn't going to read it. Y'all thought we wasn't going to read it, but we did. And found out you lied. That is not the prophecy. The prophecy said we would go into Egypt in ships. So nice try, but you got to try again. But you have all these groups that are coming out against this truth and against us teaching, because they're not for us teaching that we're the people of the Bible. They're not for it. It's only going to get worse, family. They're only going to come against us more and more. And eventually it's going to be blatant. And it's going to be more often. And the Most High is going to test our faith. Believe this thing, or we just talking. Every last one of us is going to be tried. Some of us have been being tried already. Like, I know I've went through many trials in truth, many. And I've passed with flying colors because I'm still here, but yet and still I'm going to be tried some more. But the Most High still got me here because I was built for it. And when I try to tell you, brothers and sisters, not to be funny, I had a brother this Saturday when we were at camp. A brother came. But before I say what I'm going to say, I mean no offense to nobody. I mean no offense to nobody, right? Y'all know I don't operate like that. But I'm going to tell you what a brother told me on Saturday. I've said it, and when I say it, some of you brothers get offended, like, oh, you know, whatever. And I'm not the only one that says it. Other people say it too. Some of y'all get offended when it's said, but I had a brother come and say this to me out of his mouth to the Most High's ears. He said it Saturday. He said, Danielle, he said, you know, this is a brother that's getting ready to try to join our camp. It's like a new recruit. He knows who he is. He's probably listening. If he's listening, he could put in the chat to verify that he came to me and said what he said. He said to me, Danielle, you know, he said, I came to One West back in the days. He said, but for whatever reason, I didn't stay like you stayed. And he was like, had I stayed, you know, I would know a lot of stuff, you know, I know a lot of the history and everything. He's like, man, I didn't, you know, he's giving me his reasons, which I won't say, of why he didn't stay at the time. But then he says to me, he said, I'll be listening to some of the stuff that you said that was happening back then. And he said, had I been there, I wouldn't have put up with the stuff that was going on back then. And I said, and I said, brother, that's the point. That's the point. And that's the point for a lot of you brothers and sisters too. Don't look at it as though you wish you was back there with us that have been around for a long time. Because I myself and other brothers that are in the right spirit, we don't treat any of you brothers and sisters any less that weren't around for almost 30 years like we were. I know I don't treat y'all like that. When y'all meet me, nobody can say I treat y'all like that, right? The difference is why the Most High allowed me to be back there is one thing, because I was built for it. I was built to endure. Like, it was nothing that was going to happen to me in that old school, and a lot of foul stuff happened that was going to separate me from this truth. Some of y'all, not so much. I'm keeping it real. Some of you brothers and sisters are not built like that. That's why you didn't come in back then. Some of you guys have been in one camp, just one. You had a problem in that camp, you left, and now all camps are evil. All camps are evil. Y'all will listen to Daniela's shows, you watch the videos and stuff, but you'll say that the camps are evil, right? Because of one bad experience you had. You were not built to be back then, because you might be in church right now. Or you might be wearing an ankh right now, because you wasn't built for it. I was around through at least 4 splits in Israel, major ones, and I'm still here. And I'm still in the camp. Because I understand I wasn't in this for man. And I understood also that I need to be the change in Israel I want to see. Instead of me sitting around complaining about what some of the leaders and the elders did to me, I learned from them. I learned a lot of information, a lot of good things from those elders. I learned a lot of breakdowns, a lot of history and all that. But I also saw what they did that was wrong and the mistakes that they made. And I vowed to myself that should I have a camp, and when the Most High raised me up to be in a leadership position in Israel, I would not do to his people what was done to me. That was a vow that I made. While I'm not perfect, I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. Y'all don't hear a lot of shit about how I deal with people in Israel. You don't hear it. That was a vow I made. I ain't perfect. The Bible says it's impossible except that offenses would come. So, I'm not saying I've never offended nobody. Men are going to have differences. Men are going to fall out. We're men, right? But on the level that the elders did it, never, never. And so instead of complaining about camps, some of you brothers, you need to do the same thing, man. But the Most High did not bring you in back then because you couldn't have taken it. I could run down some stories, some of the leaders, some of the things that the elders said to me. Some of them elders were tribalists, man. They hated, I'm Benjamin. They couldn't stand Benjamin. I ain't gonna say which ones. They couldn't stand Benjamin. Every other word out their mouth concerning West Indian people was bad. They can't stand us. They had no problem expressing it. But I was built for that. You ain't gonna break my spirit. Listen, I grew up practically without parents. I grew up in the streets raising myself. What you gonna say to me? What you gonna say to me? That's gonna break my spirit. You can't. You can't. Straight up. I was built for it. My whole life leading up to this truth built me up for it. The same can't be said for everybody. So that's why the Most High had you come in when you came in. And that's no shade. It is what it is. I'm just happy that the brother that said that was man enough to come and say that to me. Because when he hears the stories, his spirit says, nah, I couldn't have put up with that. And you probably couldn't have. Because the elders talked to you, with the exception of Marsha, the way the rest of them dudes would just even talk to people, man, man, I'm going to tell you, bro, everybody wasn't built for that. Everybody wasn't built for that thing, man. You know what I'm talking about? So don't look at it no way. Whatever time that you put into this truth, just teach to the best of your ability. That's all. Just do the work to the best of your ability. There's no difference between you or I. Because Yahweh said we all getting the same penny, bro. We all getting the same penny. I'm not getting 1.5 cents. I'm getting 1 cent like you getting 1 cent, man. That's all. It's just that I got gray hairs early because the Most High brought me in earlier, so I had gray hairs from my 20s, man. Putting up with Israel and all the foolishness that has gone on. Going in the streets and teaching my people. You know, I had gray hair early. That's all right. That's my lot in life. That's what it is. You know? But we're coming into that time again, brothers and sisters, where it's going to get a little crazy. So at some point, they're going to have to pick somebody to say that they won the election. And as I've been telling y'all on this channel for months now on end, one side is not going to be happy. On the Trump side, I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, I live in a state where firearms are legal. And man, when I tell you that these Edomites, these white people are buying that stuff up, like you go to the store and buy rice and potatoes and vegetables and meat, that's how they're buying guns. They're buying guns more than they buy food. Ammunition, rare, very hard to find. Price gouging, right? $1 a bullet in some places. Where I work, the security where I work is armed security. Even they're telling me that even when they go and they buy, you know, I would have thought as armed security or as police officers, you get a discount on fire, you know, like or ammunition. Now these dudes is telling me that they getting price gouged too. Ammunition is rare, so it's a lot going on, and so we just got to stay alert. Look at this clown. Yeah, we gotta stay alert, right? Because there's definitely a lot of things happening and things might escalate. So just to review, because I see that I have a lot of people that are just coming in. You know, the numbers are starting to go up a little bit. Just to review really quickly what I was saying earlier in the live stream. The name of the video is called "A Distinction Without a Difference." So I was watching a speech by Donald Trump. That's probably from 2 days ago. And basically he's in support of the people that wear the small hats. He said Jerusalem is the uncontested capital of Israel, and he ain't talking about us. So I don't care what policies you may like from him. If you're an Israelite, he's no friend of yours at all. Let's keep it a buck. So if he were to be reelected, don't get comfortable. The ones of y'all that I see online getting too comfortable, I question your faith. Because it seems to me some of y'all are looking to him as though he's a Messiah. He's the enemy. As long as Jerusalem is the uncontested capital of theirs, it's not the uncontested capital of ours. So as long as he supports that, he's the enemy. Although he may have some policies I like. Joe Biden has given 2 campaign promises on the campaign trail that are top priorities of his administration. One is to give the alphabet people more rights, and the second is to come against assault weapons, which are mainly the AR-15, which is probably right now one of the, if not the most popular firearm being sold in this country right now. Him and Kamala Harris and the other Democratic candidates during their debate, during the Democratic debates that they were having before they picked the nominee, they were all saying that they are going to come against assault rifles, ARs, AR-15s. Why is that important? As I mentioned to you guys earlier, because AR-15s and assault rifles only account for 2 to maybe maximum 4% of gun violence. That's it. 96 to 98% of gun violence is done by handguns. So once they get rid of the AR-15 and they realize that that did not slow down gun violence, the regular handguns are next. And as I mentioned earlier, where I live, these white folks are saying, you got to come get it. They're willing to shoot it out with the government. This is what they're saying. We as Israelites have no horses in this race, man. We have none. The Bible says in Jeremiah chapter 2, it says, truly in vain is salvation hoped for the multitudes of hills and mountains. I'm paraphrasing. Truly the Most High is the salvation of Israel. Now, when you really understand that scripture proper context, Israel is looking for salvation from the other nations we always have. Isaiah said, woe to them that run into Egypt for help. We're always looking to these other nations for help or assistance. Some people looking to Trump for that. Some of y'all looking to Biden for that. But the Most High is our salvation through his Son. That is how we're going to receive salvation, through his Son. When you read Nehemiah, when you read Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 27, the Most High always raised up saviors to Israel. But none of those saviors that the Most High raised up to Israel in the past can make intercession for us when it comes to sin, because the sins that we as Israelites have committed as a people are beyond the pale. There's no sacrifices that we can make to reconcile us back to the Father. So this Savior that we need in this day and time will be a Savior that can make reconciliation for us for the main sin that we as a nation have committed, which is idolatry, which is also adultery. Why? Because we're married to the Most High. We're in contract to the Most High, right? We have made a covenant with the Most High, an agreement with the Most High. And we have worshipped all these other gods prior to us coming into this truth. We worship these other gods. That is an act of fornication, spiritual fornication, which is adultery. Both of those sins are punishable by death. Only Yahushua could make intercession for us and save us from ourselves and the sins that we committed. No other man could do it. So that's who we need to be looking for salvation. Some of our people are looking at Donald Trump. Some of our people are looking at Joe Biden. They can't save you. Some of you want things to go back to, deep down inside, you want things to go back to how they were. Because you really don't want to go through what's coming. Because y'all know hell is coming. Y'all know tribulation is coming. Especially for those of us that's in this truth, you know it's coming. And deep down inside, you hoping it don't come. And we can go back to things being, things back to being things normal, so-called normal. That's what you're hoping for. Instead of hoping for the kingdom. Instead of resigning yourself to the fact that if it takes you going through tribulation, you got to steal your mind, man. You got to steal your mind. And as I'm talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself. I'm saying this to myself all week. I'm like, look, man, I've resigned myself to the fact that this is no way to live. I wasn't born in the spirit to live like this, to be subject to these other nations and subject to payment and social security numbers and paying taxes and being a second-class citizen and birth certificates and having to get up and work 2 jobs. Today I do 2 jobs, family. I'm doing this job. Y'all see what time I get up? 3 in the morning, and I leave from here to go to my second job. There ain't no way to live. But it's the only way to live, to survive in this kingdom. This is hell. So I've resigned myself to, it's 2 things. Either I'm going to do this till the day I die, or I pray to the Most High, he bring the kingdom, and whatever comes, comes, because the kingdom is coming. The kingdom is coming. Because I'm not living already. I'm not living already. I'm speaking for myself. I work 2 jobs. I'm not living already. I don't have a life. I work, I go to my second job, and I teach. What else it's boring. It's boring. Nothing else. So this is not living. So therefore, I pray to the Most High to bring the kingdom. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens to me, happens. And that's how we have to think, man. You shouldn't want things to go back to how it is, how it was. So I praise the Most High for whatever's going to happen. Whatever Trump is going to bring it. Whatever Biden is going to bring it. It's going to be painful. It's going to be hard. It's going to be stressful. It's going to be all those things. I already know. And in the midst of it, I'm going to be crying out to the Most High, because it's not going to, I don't know what's going to happen to me or us or anything. We don't know. But the Most High got to bring that thing, man, because the kingdom got to come. This is not living. And that's how you have to steal your mind every day. This is not living. I fight myself every morning to get up. I got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to come to work. The body was not created for that. Yeah, I could come later. Yes, I could come later. But if I come later, I'm stuck in rush hour traffic for 3 hours for a trip that should only be an hour and a half. Then I could come back and live down here in the New York area and live amongst the filth and dog doodle every 5 feet. I could do that too. That's not living either. All the alternatives in this society are just bad. All the choices are bad. Which is why, right, exactly, Chi-Town May said exactly, we're just existing. That's all we're doing. All of us. Yeah, you have your moments of joy, of laughter, of having fun. It's not all bad all the time. I'm not saying that. But ultimately, it's only for a moment. And you go right back to the realities of us being in hell. Right? And so this is not living. Tommy did not save me a free parking spot today. When I go inside, y'all got to tell Tommy, man, that he's off. He did not save me a free parking spot today. I got to pay. It sucks. Oh, well, it's all good. I got 30 minutes. I got 30 minutes. I don't know. What y'all want me to do? Y'all want me to end the live? I could end it and I could take a quick nap. Y'all let me know what y'all want me to do. Thank y'all for, riding down with me as always. But I will say this, if y'all want me to keep going, y'all gonna have to hit the like button. There's more people in here than I got likes. So if you want me to keep going, you gotta hit the like button. Or if you want me to end it, I'll end the live. That's cool too, either way. I already been on for an hour and a half. Shout out Warrior Lord, I see you. Oh man, y'all are all right, but y'all telling me to get some rest. I'm probably not gonna be able to. It's only a half an hour. I'm probably not gonna really be able to sleep. I'm gonna be able to sleep when I go inside though. I'm gonna take a nap when I go inside after I do my work. Yeah, family. So since y'all telling me to end it, I'll end it. The majority rules. If y'all don't, the ones that don't want me to end it ain't saying nothing. So I guess I'm gonna end it in a minute. But I do want to say this. I do want to say this, right? Okay. Yeah. Ebony knowledge. That's what I say, right? Yeah, so I do want to say this, right? We're in a time of fasting and prayer. So I had instituted something in our camp about a year ago. And what I was doing, I'm only telling y'all this because I kind of fell away from doing it myself. If I was still in the midst of doing it, I wouldn't tell y'all because I'm not supposed to tell y'all. But I had instituted something in the camp where I fasted every Sabbath. That's what I was doing. And it was great. It gave I'll give you the non-spiritual benefits, and that is that you allow your organs to rest, your digestive tract to rest. Most of us do not give our digestive tract a chance to rest. We put a lot of wear and tear on our organs. Always eating 3 to 4 meals a day, always nibbling on something. Your digestive tract never rests, right? You wonder why you sleep, you wake up, you're still tired because your organs are always working, even when you're sleeping. So that's the benefit for that. Also, you slim down a little bit, right? I'm in the gym, but I still need to slim down a little bit because I put on a couple of pounds during this lockdown when the gyms were closed. So those were the benefits for me on a carnal level, but on a spiritual level, the benefits are. Does everybody understand what the benefits of fasting is spiritually? I'll just tell you real quick. I mentioned it before, but I'll tell you guys again. The spiritual benefits of fasting is this, and Christ spoke about us having to fast, and we only need to do it more than just the Day of Atonement, which we've been commanded to do. And no, the Day of Atonement was not done away with. No, Christ did not nail the Day of Atonement to the cross because you got that heresy floating around. That's not in the Bible. The benefit of fasting is this, right? We all are trying to overcome the world and overcome sin, right? At any time, any of us are susceptible to sin, right? We all trying to crucify and kill the lust of the flesh, those carnal things within us that we all fighting against, right? So food is necessity. Food is necessary. It's an absolute necessity, right? And when you're not fasting, you don't feel that same urge a lot of times to eat. But when you're fasting, you feel these cravings all of a sudden to eat. And it's an overwhelming urge to eat. And you start even thinking and fantasizing about what you want to eat. It'll be great to go out and whatever your favorite food is, you start thinking about that thing when you're fasting. It's a spiritual thing, right? Yet, you're able to overcome it. For those of us that do the Day of Atonement every year, you deny your flesh what is necessary, which is to eat food. And on the Day of Atonement, actually also to drink. You deny yourself that no matter how hungry you get, no matter how much you practically have what they call a cotton mouth on the Day of Atonement, where you just want a sip of water. You're not even asking for the whole glass, just a sip, because your mouth is so dry. But you deny yourself those necessities because you know the Most High commanded it, and you also know you could do it, right? So fasting is showing you how you can overcome sin, because you're tempted in your flesh carnally for many things. And the same way that you're able to overcome the overwhelming desire to eat or drink on the Day of Atonement or other fasts you do, is the same way you can deny yourself. You can see that you can deny yourself those carnal things that you know that you're not supposed to do. You can deny yourself those things. You can overcome those things, just like you can overcome the overwhelming urge to eat or drink. You can overcome sin, whatever it may be. You have the ability to do that. And fasting shows you that. So in this day and time with these things going on, we're trying to get ourselves right so peradventure the Most High can deliver us. We could be part of that number that we always talk about. And so the reason why fasting is important is because you need to do that in these days and times. And Christ spoke to the disciples when there was a story in the Gospels about the disciples trying to exercise a particular spirit, and they couldn't exercise that spirit. And Christ told them, I'm paraphrasing, that certain spirits can only be exercised through fasting and prayer, right? So some of us have these spirits, these lusts of the flesh, these things within us that we're trying to fight. And you've been trying to fight it, and some of these things you've been fighting for years, whatever it is. And the only way you're going to be able to overcome that is through fasting and prayer. And that might be something that, to whom it may concern, you're not doing. That might be the one thing that you're leaving out that might help you overcome whatever it is that lust or that sin is. So I had did this thing where I was fasting every Sabbath, and I did it for a good 6 months. And then I fell off, right? And the deacon in the camp came to me the other day, and he's still doing it. Like, he said that he followed my lead, and he started doing it. And that kind of made me feel bad, because I'm like, damn, you said you followed my lead, but I fell off. I fell off, so I had to check myself. Like, I got to get back on that, especially in these days and times, man. It's a lot going down. So we need to get up on that fasting and praying. And also on a carnal level, also going back to a carnal level, fasting is good because we know that the Bible speaks about famines coming, right? Lack of food, lack of bread, right? Food shortages, and ultimately famines, right? So there may be days in the future where you don't eat for the day or for 2 days. If you are already conditioned to not eat and not fall apart, not be on the ground sweating in convulsions because you didn't eat, if you already condition yourself for that, then it'll be nothing. You understand? So that's another good reason why we all need to get back into fasting. You know what I'm saying? So just examine yourself and see if what I'm saying could be useful for you in your walk. I know for myself, I got to get back to fasting. I'm only mentioning it because I fell off. If I was still doing it, I wouldn't even tell y'all, because you're not supposed to tell people that you're doing it. You're supposed to go about everything like normal. People not even supposed to know. You know what I'm saying? So outside of the camp, I didn't really tell everybody that that's something I was doing. I fell off, and when I get back on it, I'm not going to tell y'all. But I'm just throwing it out there that that's something that maybe you brothers and sisters might want to consider for whatever it is that you're dealing with in your life, right? Or for whatever requests that you have of the Most High that you want the Most High to do for you. It might be a good idea to get up on some fasting. And pray more too. Pray more too. And don't just pray and ask the Most High to give you this and give you that and give you this and give you that. Like the Bible says, you pray amiss, just asking for things you don't really need. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you don't get it. And don't ask the Most High for something that's going to make you go the hell off. Some of you brothers are praying to the Most High for a wife. The Most High will send a woman to you, and you look her up and down, and she's a 6. And you're like, I don't want that. You asking the Most High for a 10. The Most High's not sending you a 10, because if you get a 10, you're going to go off. That sister going to have you bowing down to Buddha. That's why the Most High don't give her to you. Don't pray for stuff that you don't need. Some of you praying for the Most High to hit you, have you hit the number. You hit the number, you're going to go the hell off. There are examples of brothers in this truth that have done that. I'm telling you, there was one brother that came in, it wasn't even millions of dollars. It probably was a couple of $100,000. There was a brother that came into some money, right? And the brother left the truth, family. The brother left the truth after he got the money, moved to Florida, and started, I'm just gonna talk to y'all frank. He started tricking on these H words, the garden tools. He started tricking and ran through a couple of $100,000, bro. Just like the Bible speaks about the prodigal son. This is a real story. I'm not capping. I'm not telling you. I'm telling you this happened. When the brother ran through the money, then the brother came back to the school telling everybody a sob story. When you got the money, you didn't give any money to the school. You didn't do nothing for your brothers, nothing like that. You hightailed it to Florida, left the school, hightailed it to Florida, and burned through all those money tricking on the garden tools. You know what I'm saying? Clubbing it up, popping bottles, doing all that stuff. Whatever you was doing, you did that. You ran through all your money and then came back to the school talking about, you know what I'm saying, what happened to you and blah, 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 and everything like that. And unfortunately for that brother, man, you know, may the Most High be with his spirit. The Most High took that brother's spirit. The brother passed away of a heart attack not too long after that. May the Most High, you know, the brother did come back to the school. And then, of course, there was a split in that school. And I didn't really see the brother after the split, but I had, you know, when the brother passed away, his family reached out to us and told us he passed away, you know. And I say that to say, you know, again, going back to what I was saying a moment ago, we pray for things. You pray to the Most High for stuff, you get it, and you go the hell off. That brother probably never had money in his life, so the minute he got it, he didn't know what to do with himself. And so it destroyed him. So sometimes when the Most High doesn't answer your prayers, brothers and sisters, and when I speak to you, I'm speaking to myself, because the Most High could see far ahead and realize what you're praying for might destroy you. Brothers, that woman that you're praying for, the one that you seen in your fantasies, she just got it in all the places that you want her to have it, huh? That woman will destroy you if you're not careful. And I remember the elder Ariah said that. Ariah said there's a woman to take every man out the spirit. Every man. There's a woman on this earth that can take you out the spirit. And you sisters, you're not exempt, because you too. That brother that's 6'3" with light eyes and big arms and can bench press 300 pounds, huh? That dude to take you right out the truth. The one that you've been praying for. You know? The brother that's 5'7", you know what I'm saying, with a little pot belly, you don't want him. The Most High sent him to you. I'm not saying, listen, of course you gotta be attracted to who you're married to. So I'm being I'm jesting a little bit, but I'm being serious at the same time. The person the guy that you're praying for, the guy that you see it in your dreams, right? You wonder why the Most High ain't sending you. He's sending these other brothers that's creeping in your inbox on Facebook and Instagram. The brothers that's creeping in there, you looking like, nah. And you wonder why the Most High send you a husband, because the guy that you want, he gonna come and put that thing on you, and next thing I know, I'm gonna see you with an ankh. Talk about you, Kemet. So that's why the Most High ain't giving you. That's why the Most High didn't give them to you. Because the scriptures say we ask and we pray amiss. You ask him for something that will destroy you. So the Most High know better, so you ain't getting it. Period. Okay? You're not gonna get it. You know, I came into this truth as a young man, right? And I'm a father of, you know what I'm saying? So I know the young man thing. I can impart these lessons, you know what I'm saying, on the next generation. So I came to this truth as a young man. I was 19 years old. What do you guys think I was looking for in a woman when I came into this truth? What do you think? The same thing every young man was looking for. It was all superficial. All of it. And that's why all the relationships that I tried to establish when I first came to this truth, none of them worked. Until that fateful day that myself and Baloya, we used to Marshall, the elder of the old school of One West, he used to live in the area. We used to sell oils on 149th and 3rd Avenue in the Bronx. That's we used to have our oil tables out there. And Marshall didn't live far from there. So he would come out, the elder would come out. That's why I always have a special place in my heart for Marshall, because amongst all the elders, he was meek and he had a lot of love for young men, which is why I have a lot of love for young brothers too. He would come and sit with us and talk to us like the grandfather I never had. Like my father that I can say a father I never had, but my father died when I was 12. A lot of y'all don't know that. That's why I am how I am. I raised myself. But that's another sob story for another day. Anyway, Marshall was like the grandfather I never had and the father that I was missing since I was 12. He was come and sit with us and talk to us like that. And Marshall used to tell us where we went wrong. And it was the best advice I ever got. He said, you need to stop chasing these women whatever woman that you love, like I said, the one that you praying for, that you fantasizing about, whatever like that, Marshall said you need to stop that. And the same thing goes for you women that's looking for a husband. You find somebody that loves you. That's the relationship that's gonna work. The person that you chasing down, you love them. You chasing them down. They could take it or leave it. You calling, how you doing? You trying to make the person like you, and you try whatever. You got to go through all this to try to hope. You're hoping that they like you. Marshall said, nah. There's always somebody that's showing interest in you. They may not be, just like what I told you. It may not be what you fantasizing about in your head, but that person is showing interest in loving you. That's the person that you need to look a second time at and look at their spirit. Because that's the sister that's not, or the brother that's not going to take you out the truth. That's the sister that you brothers are looking for that will humble herself and submit herself to you. I know you're looking for LaQuanda on Instagram. Every picture she posts up, she get 1,000 likes. Every picture she posts up is her rear end, from the rear end view. I know that's what you're looking for, but that's not what you should be looking for. The sister that's actually right there is paying attention to you, you're looking past her. And you sisters are looking past that man. And as a young man, that was some of the best advice I ever got, because it changed my outlook and my perspective on what I was looking for in a partner or a mate or a wife, because that's what I was looking for. I was looking for superficial, just like any other young man would. That's what we're taught. I'm looking at the music videos and I'm looking at all these things and I'm seeing all these females in there, and I was like, well, hey, that's what it was. And that changed my life. And I realized that I was praying for and looking amiss for those things in relationships. That's why as a young man, none of those relationships worked, because they were all carnal. None of those women the Most High, wanted me to be with. None of them. And that might be why some of your prayers are not being answered as well. So we have to all examine ourselves and re-examine the things that we're asking the Father for. Most High is going to give you what's best for you. And you just need to be grateful with that for whatever that is, right? The Most High did bless me with a wonderful wife. You know what I'm saying? A beautiful wife that's good to me. She's in the spirit. She does good for me. She's a beautiful woman inside and out. But it took a long time for that to happen. The Most High had to beat me down first and show me a lot of relationships that were bad. You know? So it's going to be all right, family. It'll be all right. Right. You know, if I always say that if I had to look for a wife in this Instagram era, I don't know, man. Because like a woman's Instagram page is enough for me to. I was having this conversation with the brother that's inside the job right there. Me and him was having this conversation 2 days ago. It's a woman's Instagram page is enough for me. I don't care. I don't give a damn how she look. Maybe this is the older me speaking now, of course. But I don't care how she look. A woman's Instagram page is enough for her to be eliminated from me trying to be interested in you. I don't give a damn how you look. I'm looking at the pictures that you posting. Because the pictures that you posting tell me a lot of who I'm getting with. And tell me a lot about yourself and where your mind is. And that can eliminate you, man. So I'm glad that in this era, man, it's not what it is, because I look at Instagram and I say, man, I don't understand. Some of these females be having, you know, whole husbands and stuff, and you don't see one picture on their Instagram, not one. All you see is a bunch of pictures and a whole bunch of Negroes on the pictures, you know, commenting about this, that, and the third to this woman who has a man that she doesn't even post or acknowledge. It's sad. Anyway, enough of that. What time is it? Okay, 8 minutes. I gotta go inside. So I talked y'all through my time. Somebody said for me to have. Somebody said for me, Warrior Lord asked me to talk briefly about my sit down with Jabari. So just so brothers and sisters know, right? That was not a debate. So I have been very highly critical of Jabari for years. For years. Rightfully so. As I've been critical of Polite, Shaka, Garfield, everybody. I've been highly critical. I value myself and my intellect. So I don't sit with everybody. I get challenged to debates all the time. I get asked to sit down with a whole bunch of people. But I value my time. I have a saying, my time is valuable. So I'm not sitting just with anybody. And everybody that wants to sit with me goes through Sinetta. Freaking Vocab Malone called Sinetta like a month and a half ago, because he been asking me to debate, and I'm like, dude, we already debated. Myself and the general already sent you to the spiritual world. You keep coming back like Chucky. But whatever. Like we already said, well, why am I going to debate you a second time? So I guess he thought Sinetta could butter me up. I told Sinetta no. Garfield been running me down for a discussion. Not till you put your book out, buddy. All right? Polite on more than one occasion has told Sinetta he wants to sit down with me, and I said no. I'm not fiending for no debates. I'm not fiending for no attention. If I wanted attention, I could be on Sinetta's channel every other day. I would go live on my channel every other day. As I've told y'all many times, I prefer not to do videos. That's why half my videos you don't even see my face. I could care less. I'll talk to you. I could care less. But anyway, I did promise Jabari to sit down a few years ago. He wrote a book called Seven Little Lies, or whatever, Seven Little White Lies, whatever. And I was highly critical of the book, so he wanted to sit down, and I kept putting it off. And so recently, as y'all know, I put up the video of Brother Josh from Absolute Bible Truth, responding to Jabari's assertion that the Bible is misogynistic. So Sinetta called me blindly with Jabari already on the phone. He didn't call me and say, okay, let's call Jabari. Jabari was already on the phone. And it was like, yo, they was calling Josh out. Like, yo, get Josh on the phone. We want to bring him on the channel. Jabari wants to debate him, blah, 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 whatever. Shout out to Brother Josh. I reached out to Josh. And Josh was like, nah, I'm not talking to them. I'm still gonna make videos. I'm still gonna roast them, but I don't want to talk to them. So I called Sinetta and Jabari back, and I'm like, look, dude doesn't want to talk to y'all. So they were like, well, since he don't want to talk to us and you put it on your channel, we want to talk to you. Like I said, I had promised these guys a conversation a long time ago. And every now and then, it's good to sharpen your sword or whatever like that. So I said, you know what? Why not? So that's why we sat down and we had a respectful conversation. It was not a debate. No PowerPoint slides are pulled or nothing like that. We were just having a respectful conversation. That's all it was, right? There's no animosity there. There's no nothing there. It's all good. So that's pretty much how that conversation came about. As far as any of the other people that's on the platform, as I mentioned to Garfield, the only way he and I will sit down is when his book comes out. And he doesn't want to put his book out until he has a debate with Jabari first. They're going to actually have a debate. So he doesn't want to put his book out, which is against the Israelites, until he has his debate with Jabari. Once he puts his book out, then there's a possibility I would sit with him. As I mentioned to him, another problem that I have is that they want to pigeonhole me into just talking about King James. At this point, right? I'm talking about in the conscious community, not in Israel. I don't have any contemporaries on that subject. Like there's nobody on my level, or I'm gonna say Israel, on our level on that subject over there. Everything that they talk about is because I told them. First they talked all that homosexual stuff. Then we brought up the stuff that he was not gay. They talked about this, that, and the third. We addressed all that stuff, right? So they had to remix everything. So we know that we don't have any equals over this. So why am I going to sit down and debate with you when everything that you know on the subject you learn from us? So what I told them both is, oh shoot, I got free parking. Boom. All praise to the Most High. See, y'all told me to go to sleep, which is cool. But if I went inside and went to sleep, I would have missed the free parking. All praise to the Most High. All right. So we don't have any equals over there on that subject. I'm not saying that it can't be part of a discussion, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna sit there and have a whole discussion with people that's actually having to play catch up on the subject. Like you don't know nothing about that stuff. So why am I sitting here? I'll teach you, but I'm not debating you on it because you don't know. So that's why I told him, I'm like, I can't have a discussion with him until his book comes out. And then we can have a more broad discussion, and that can be a part of the discussion. I don't have a problem with that, but I'm not going to just sit there and discuss that in and of itself, with any of those guys, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So that's how that discussion came about with Jabari and myself. And there's still parts of it that's not up. I could have went way harder than I did. But I actually was having, in my own self, I was actually having a good time because I haven't, what's the word I want to use? I haven't, had a sword fight, for lack of a better word, sharpen my sword in a while. So it was good that he was doing what he was doing because it gives you a chance to think. Discussions and debates, what it does do, what it is good for is it causes you to think on your feet. That's the first thing. And the second thing, the reason why it's good is because you hear perspectives that you never heard before during debate. So now the next time that you hear certain things, you're like, okay, I know how to argue against that next time now because I didn't even know people believe that. But now that I know somebody thinks this way, how would I answer that question? And the next time that somebody brings it up to you, now you're prepared for the argument because you heard it already. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I went, last week I did that video for y'all on William Shakespeare, translating the Bible. Some of that history, some of y'all never heard before. And I didn't know how to, combat it when I first heard it, so I had to research it. Now, when we go to camp and somebody comes up and says something, it used to be that the camp would give me the mic, like, hey, answer that. Now, everybody in the camp is on the same page. So I don't even have to go up. You know what I'm saying? If anything, they're telling me, sit down, we got this. You know what I'm saying? So, because now I done passed the information on to everybody else. You see what I'm saying? Somebody asked me about what is the video coming out of the Peace family. Man, I haven't even started that PowerPoint yet, so I can't answer that. But you know what? I do need to do it. I know I tell you I need to do like 1 million PowerPoints, right? But that one is very important because a lot of y'all are not familiar with that argument. So it is important, and it will offend, and that's okay. It will offend a lot of my Old Testament only Torah brothers, not the ones that study. The ones that actually study will also tell you that that whole Piso story is pseudo, right? If I'm not mistaken, I had this conversation with Zion Lex, and he even said that I could be wrong. I don't want to misquote my brother, but I remember having this conversation a couple of years ago, and he told me that's fake. But you have a lot of Old Testament only Israelites. If some of y'all are on here, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect to y'all, but y'all believe that whole Piso thing. That's pseudo. It's pseudo. And a lot of it is using what we call English gematria. You have English gematria, you have gematria in Latin, Greek, and you have Hebrew gematria. So it doesn't cross over. So it's a lot of pseudo, and there's no primary sources. The name of the book is called True Authorship of the New Testament, right? It's a pamphlet. You can get that shit on Amazon. I wouldn't advise you weak-minded, weak-faith brothers to read that book, because I done seen brothers that believe in the New Testament that read that book, and now you done lost your mind. Which anyway, if you do that, then you was never a believer anyway. But still, you weak-minded and weak in the faith brothers and sisters, do not read that book. I'll put together the information and do the PowerPoint. Please, don't ask me when. I just told y'all I work 2 jobs. I get up at 3 in the morning. I'm at work now. When I leave here, I'm going to my next job, and then I'm coming back here in the morning. So I don't have a lot of time. So don't put me on the clock to do that PowerPoint, family. Don't put me on the clock to do none of these PowerPoints, because my time is limited, unfortunately. Yeah, I always say in jest, man, about, y'all want all this stuff, man. Y'all could retire me, man, and I could teach 24 hours a day. You know what I'm talking about? Yo, you had this retarded nigga in Brooklyn. I'm deviating for a second, and I'm gonna answer. Shy-Town made. I'm gonna answer your question. I'm deviating. You got this retard in Brooklyn. I went to the summit last year before Corona. I should have said that word, Corona. Whatever. I went to the summit last year in Fort Lauderdale, the last one that they had. It was in Fort Lauderdale. That's Miami. Miami's nothing. Anybody can go to Miami. And I shot my music video down there. You got this retard in Brooklyn that actually made a video and said that I'm taking money from my congregation to take exotic trips. Dude, if you're listening, you are absolutely retarded. It's okay, because when the Most High give us spiritual power, we're going to be able to heal people that are retards. So, in that day, if the Most High gives somebody spiritual power, I'm going to ask them to heal you, because you're a retard. Somebody might be like, that's not nice to say. Paul called the Cretans slow belly. You know what it means to be slow belly? Slow belly means, slow belly is about your mind, being slow of mind. He called them slow bellies. That's in the Bible. For you sensitive Negroes. That's in the Bible. Paul called the Cretans slow bellies. You call them slow. You call somebody slow, you call them retarded. In the Greek, it says lentis mentis. That's slow. So as I said, you got this slow dude in Brooklyn that said that. First of all, you're free to get anybody in my congregation to tell you I asked them for anything. Not much less, my behind is getting up, working 2 jobs. What? Come on, man. To take a $99 trip to Miami to go to the summit. You are slow. That's all I can tell you. You're slow, bro. And that's all. That's it, and that's all. You're crazy. You could take a trip to Miami too, King. It's all good. And if you can't, and you need some help, just ask. But don't make stupid accusations. You sound crazy. I went to Miami driving around in a gosh darn Nissan. Where did I get money from, man? I wasn't driving around no luxury car. A damn Nissan. Same shit I drive up here. What are you talking about? Anyway, somebody asked what video on Shakespeare you got to go to. After I'm done, just come to the channel and look. It's 2 videos ago I did a video. Did William Shakespeare put his name in Psalms 46? There is a doctrine, mostly being pushed by the 5%ers in a conscious community, that William Shakespeare was one of the translators of the Bible, and he inserted his name in Psalms 46. You may have never heard that, or you may have heard that. Either way, I give you guys the information and the history to debunk that if somebody ever says it to you. I have seen videos on YouTube with people coming to camp saying that to people at camp, and I've watched brothers at camp not know how to respond to that. So I made a video on it. You want to learn how to respond to it? Go watch it. I'm not giving the yeah, L, I don't want to give the brother no shine. So I'm not gonna call his name because he's looking for attention. He calls my name and has put my name in several videos. And I don't even understand how anybody could listen to this dude for more than 5 minutes, because you could clearly tell that he is slow-bellied. You could clearly tell the minute he starts talking. And you have one particular individual that actually shared his video talking about he's credible. You're crazy too. You are crazy too. I got to say that. You're crazy too. To even share that, like somebody could actually sit down and listen to that for more than 10 minutes. Talking about he's credible. Well, this is the thing. This is what I'm gonna say, and this is, he that hath an ear, let him hear. And if you don't like what I'm about to say, that's your problem. This is what I'm going to tell you. If I'm lying about anything I said about the old school, listen carefully. This is for who it's meant for. And it's only a few people that this could be meant for. If I'm lying about anything that I've said about all the evil that was done by certain leaders in the old school, if you're telling me that I'm lying about that, knowing that you were not there, so you have no business, and you are in no position to tell me I'm lying. But if you say that, then guess what? You're lying about what you said happened to you in your camp, but you broke away from and joined up with me. How about that? You got it with me because you told me some shit happened in the camp you was with. So now you want to be down with myself and Hashar, right? Well, if we're lying about that, then you lying about that. How you like that? How you like that? Now I got to look back and say to myself, well, hell, were you telling the truth? Yeah, you don't like that, right? I'll just leave that there. He that hath an ear, let him hear. You want to run around calling somebody a liar? You want to run around calling somebody credible? Okay, then the brother that you talked about, he's credible and not you. You like that? Do you like that? I bet you don't like that. That's the height of hypocrisy. It's ridiculous. And yeah, I said it. You don't have to like it. It's too bad. I'm playing by your rules that you're setting. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Niggas is always telling me, I just got to vent a little bit. Niggas is always telling me about some bad stuff that happened to them in whatever camp they was in. They ain't going to turn around and say that, oh, I don't know what happened to you at One West. Maybe it's not true. You a hypocrite. You are a hypocrite. The reason why a lot of people don't clap back at what I say, because I ain't lying. There's much witnesses. I ain't lying. Dudes is crazy, man. All right. 2 hours and 3 minutes. Y'all got a good show today, I think. Can I get a couple more likes? I'm about to get out of here, though. All praises. Thank y'all. Most High continue to bless and keep each and every one of you brothers and sisters. If I'm feeling up to it, I could come back later on because I'm just going to my second job. There's nothing to do over there. So I could very well come back later. I don't know. I'll see how I feel. I am going to work on that PowerPoint on the PSOs and try to make that the next PowerPoint that I do. I'm also, real quick, and I'm going to get out of here. I'm careful sometimes that some of the stuff I bring to you, brothers and sisters, too, because, the Most High told Ezra in the Apocrypha, when the Most High was showing him certain things, the Most High told Ezra, this portion you teach openly, this portion you hold back, and you just teach to certain men. There's a lot of things that I know, scripturally, historically, that I hesitate to bring to everybody only because there's different levels of understanding and discernment of people that watch this channel. And I'd be afraid, I don't want to be the reason that somebody goes off by bringing y'all something and then you choke on it. So sometimes I'm hesitant to go into certain things. This is one of those things. But at the same time, I'm seeing brothers so-called leaving the truth, but you was never in the truth to begin with. You was never with us to begin with. Talking about now, you used to believe in the New Testament, now you're Old Testament only because you believe the Piso family wrote the New Testament. So I guess I'm kind of obligated, since I know that stuff, to kind of deal with it. So I probably will do a PowerPoint on it at some point. Just don't put me on a clock as to when. Whenever I'm not working, which is hardly ever, and I have the energy and the focus, then I'll put together a PowerPoint and I'll do it for you guys. All right? Yeah, there's videos out already on it, but I don't, okay, you're saying there's videos out already on it, but I don't know what the videos are, and I don't know if they're saying it's true or it's false. Like, I don't know what's already out there. I don't believe that there's anybody that's addressed it outright in the Israelite community, though. I don't think. Could be. Could be, but I'm not. If there is, I'm not aware of it. Tabernacle of David, shalom to you. Somebody sent me an email this week too. Man, I tell y'all, somebody sent me an email. One of the brothers, shalom to the brother, he knows who he is out in Long Island. He sent me an email with a whole bunch of other stuff that he wants me to address too. Man, it's just not enough hours in the day, bro. Like, when I do have some free time in between, what it is, I just keep, like, y'all my family, so I keep it a buck with y'all. Sometimes it's just a focus, right? Like, I work the 2 jobs, and I teach. I have a camp. I'm a parent. I'm a husband. I got all this stuff going on. So, like, sometimes I mentally, the scriptures say the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Like, I mentally say to myself, I need to teach all this stuff. I need to give people all this information. But then when I sit down in front of the computer to do it, I'm like, not today. You know what I'm saying? Because you're mentally tired, mentally drained. But I know I have to do it. So y'all just pray for me. Y'all want the information, just pray for me, man. There will come a day where I don't have to work 2 jobs. You know what I'm saying? If you want that day to be sooner than later, I'm not panhandling, but my website is wakeupjacob12.com. You see something on there you like, buy it. That helps me. That's all I'm going to say. And with that, I say peace and blessings. Shalom.